Thursday, June 2nd edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East. We had another day yesterday of some stifling levels of heat and humidity. In fact, it was exceedingly muggy out there yesterday, and a number of spots had those dew point temperatures just kind of hovering in the low 70s for the bulk of the day. However, a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity over the next couple of days overall. Nothing cool, but the heat backing down a few notches. We'll discuss that as well as some thunderstorm chances as well as the tropics here as today's edition of the video rolls on. Let's start with a look at the radar this morning. Got a big complex of rain and storms over parts of the nation's midsection, but that will not really play a role in our weather. You can notice some subtle changes on the temperature map and the dew point map this morning. These are the temperatures. And a little bit of a cooler air mass here over the Great Lakes in the northeast in terms of those dew point temperatures. Not far away, you have dew points in the 50s. You just have to go up into the Virginias to find that, and I believe a lot of us will see some of these 50s for dew points moving in through the course of the day today. So today, still pretty hot, highs in the 90s still across much of the region, but it will be noticeably less muggy in many spots, especially the farther north you go in the region. Now, there's a look at the storm report map from yesterday and last night, and a very significant tornado outbreak here over parts of Massachusetts. Very significant supercell thunderstorms that had some very strong tornado signatures on them, and in fact tornadoes on the ground with them yesterday. Pretty rare event for that part of the country. And as far as severe weather today is concerned, a big slight risk over the northern plains, and also a slight risk in North Alabama, North Georgia, good chunk of South Carolina, southeastern Tennessee, and southwesternmost North Carolina. That'll be a deal where there'll be some afternoon storms pop up that could be severe, maybe damaging winds being your primary severe weather threat. Here's the upper air chart valid this afternoon. The ridging beginning to get kind of eroded away here on the eastern periphery here in our region, and while the ridging will temporarily build back in over the upcoming weekend, it looks like some more northwest flow coming as we get into the first part of next work week. So let's kind of take this day by day. Today, there's your scattered afternoon storms developing in South Carolina, North Georgia, up into the mountains of North Carolina. A few of those might drift into the southern Piedmont, but I think much of the Piedmont of North Carolina dry today. Now, tomorrow, I think a lot of us will see some 80s for highs. That'll feel very, very nice. Still a chance of thunderstorms in South Carolina up into coastal parts of North Carolina, the mountains as well. And again, I think much of the Piedmont, probably dry tomorrow and Saturday. Saturday we begin to warm back up, probably a lot of lower 90s for highs on Saturday, then maybe mid-90s in most spots Sunday. And the GFS not printing out a lot of precip, but I'm going to stick with the chance of some scattered storms Sunday. The European a little bit more along the lines of my thinking there with the chance of some scattered storms on Sunday afternoon. All right, now Monday, looks like we get another little break from the heat, probably Monday and Tuesday, maybe some upper 80s to around 90 for highs before we probably return well up into the 90s Wednesday and Thursday of next week. All right, into the tropics. Our little disturbance there in the Gulf of Mexico has very, very little chance of development, and not a lot of consolidated activity down to the Caribbean, but I think that's going to be the area to watch here over the next week or so. There's that disturbance in the Gulf. It moved across North Florida and down into the Gulf. That'll continue to shoot off to the west. But a lot of broad, unsettled weather here in the Caribbean Sea. And a number of the computer models here that I'm going to show you continue to latch on to development that moves generally off in this direction here over the next week. Some of the specific modeling here, this is a look at the Canadian model out at 120 hours, and it's got a pretty well-defined system there in the western Caribbean Sea. The NOGAPS has a pretty weak system developing in the Caribbean Sea over the next several days. And here's the European model, and this is all the way out at next Saturday, the 11th rather of June. And looking at that system creeping into view here into the South Florida and the Bahamas. And finally, the GFS all the way out at next Thursday evening, seeing that system trying to show up around Hispaniola, Cuba, and the eastern Bahamas. So again, I think the Caribbean Sea is the general area to look for signs of tropical development here over the next 3 days to 1 week or so. So that'll be the focus of the attention in the tropics. All right, that is it for today. Have a wonderful Thursday, and God bless.